All right, so we've spoken about movement of particles. What about if it's falling? So we have a ball and we're throwing it vertically down with a speed of 18 meters per second. It reaches the ground in 1.6 seconds. So how are we going to find the height? So first thing we want to do is we want to draw a diagram. So this is the ball. This is the height, right? And we know t equals 1.6, and therefore the initial velocity, is 18 meters per second. All right. Now, we're missing two things. We're missing the final velocity and the acceleration. The important thing to note is the acceleration. Because it's going downwards and it's being dropped, the acceleration is gravity, which is 9.8, unless stated otherwise. Okay? Now, we have an initial velocity, we have a time, and we have an acceleration. So what Suvat equation are we going to use? S equals ut plus a half at squared. All right? So S is equal to, in this case, S is h, 18 times 1.6 plus a half times 9.8 times 1.6 squared. All right. Now let's write that out into our calculators. And when we do that, we should get an answer of 9.8 times 1.6 squared, 41.34 meters. Okay? And literally, it's the exact same thing, only this time we're using gravity. Is this video helpful? Well, make sure you subscribe so you never miss a video like it from me. What about if we're going upwards? A particle is projected upwards with a speed of 24.5 meters per second. Find the total time for which it is above 21 meters or more. So, the first thing to note is, let's draw a diagram. So we have 21 meters. We have x meters. And here we have a ball with velocity 24.5. All right. Now, what we want to do is to model the acceleration this time. Because it's going against gravity, the acceleration is going to be minus 9.8. Okay? Now, remember what we did last time. The first thing we want to know is the final velocity over here. Yeah? Because if we get the final velocity here, we can work out the time it takes for it to decelerate back down to 0. And then we can double that. Okay? So, what we can do is work out first and foremost the final velocity. V squared equals u squared plus 2as, which is equal to 24.5 squared plus 2 times 9.8 times 21. Okay? Now we can plug that into our calculator. So 24.5 squared plus 2 times 9.8 times 21. I get a syntax error. Why is that a syntax error? Okay, perfect. Sorted it out. I get 1.11185. Oh, sorry. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. That should be minus. I get 188. There we go. So if you guys did that at home, you were right. I was wrong. It is 188.65. So V is going to be the square root of that, which is 13.73 meters per second. Okay. Now, we need to model the time it takes to go from here to here, at which v is equal to 0. And now v equals u, which is 13.73. So now all we need to do is work out the time taken. How are we going to do that? Well, we don't know the distance. We know the velocity. We know the initial. We know the final velocity. We know the acceleration is still minus 9.8. Okay. So we're going to use v equals u plus at. All right. Now we just need to make t the subject. So t is going to be v minus u over a. All right. Which is equal to minus 13.73 over the acceleration 9.8, which is equal to, and you can plug this into your calculators, 1.4 seconds. Okay. So the total time, because it needs to come up and it also needs to come back down. So the total time taken is going to be 1.4 times 2, which is 2.8 seconds. And that is your final answer. Still not making a lot of sense? Well, join my Discord server and ask me whatever questions you want down below. Now, let's look at this one. A ball is released from rest at a point 10 meters above a wooden floor. Each time the ball hits the ground, it rebounds with 3/4 of its speed. Find the greatest height above the floor the first time it rebounds and then the second time it rebounds. Okay, so first thing we want to do is draw a diagram. We know that it's going to be 10 meters. Because it's from rest, what's the initial velocity? 0. So now what we need to do is find the final velocity, v. Okay? And also we know that the acceleration is 9.8. Okay? Now, how do you work out the final velocity? V squared is equal to u squared plus 2as. So therefore, v squared is going to be 2 times 9.8 times 10, which is equal to 196. So v is equal to 14. Okay, cool. We know that when it rebounds, this time it's going to be 3/4 that. Okay? So let's draw another diagram. This time it's coming over here. This is the height that we want to find. We know that the initial velocity is going to be 3/4 times 14. Okay? At the greatest height of rebound, the final velocity is going to be 0. And we also know that it's going against gravity. So A equals negative G, which is 9.81. You can use 9.81. In maths and in mechanics, we usually use 9.8. You can use 9.81. At GCSE, you can use 10. All right? When in doubt, use 9.8. Anyways, how are we going to work out the height? We don't have time, so v squared is equal to u squared plus 2as. We know v is 0, so u squared minus u squared is going to be 2as. And so therefore, s is going to be u squared over 2a. So plug that into your calculators. 3/4 times 14. All right. And then it's all that squared divided by 2 times 9.8. And what we're left with is an answer of 5.625 meters. Okay, so significantly has dropped off. Now, how are we going to find it the second time around? Well, now we need to find the velocity going downwards. It should still be 3 over 4 times 14, but let's double check. V squared is going to be 0 plus 2 times 5.625 times 9.8, which is equal to... Yeah, okay, we get 10 point... it is equal to 10.5 squared, okay? So V equals 10.5. Alright, sure. Which is just so happens to be that. Okay, cool. Let's draw another diagram. So, again, this is our height. And this is going to be 10.5 times 3/4. Alright? V is going to be 0. This is going to be H2. And G is going to... A is going to be negative G. Which is also equal to negative 9.8. Again, using the same formula. V squared equals U squared plus 2AS. We know V is 0, so using that same formula, S is equal to negative U squared over 2A, which in this case is going to be 10.5 times 3/4 all squared, all divided by 2 times 9.8. And if we plug that into our calculators, we should get an answer of 3.16 meters. Okay, so it's gradually getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So those are your two answers for part A and part B respectively. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this video made sense. Do you guys want to pass your exams with flying colours? Well, you can get tutored by me. Drop me an email so we can organise a meeting and a quote. Keep on learning, as you have no idea what you're capable of doing.